Hey, crew. It is almost 8:30 in the morning here. You're probably in the river right now. I'm heading down. I'm going to meet Gary. And I watched Hold Your Breath on Netflix last night. And I got this idea that maybe I'd bring down my scuba mask and my, my hood, and maybe, there's Gary driving by, and maybe get actually into the water, like under the water. And I have my 360, Insta360 action cam, so maybe I could use that to take some video. So yeah, we'll see how I'm feeling.
And it is cold outside. It's lower than 30, but the water's around 34, I think.
So it was our back porch said negative 8
Okay. Never good at doing that in my head. So that would be like 25 or no lower.
No, it's like so that would be like 14 below 32.
Oh yeah,
so
that sounds right.
Yeah, so that's like 18.
Okay.
It's not really about the time. So as Gary said, the air temperature was around 18. The water temperature was around 34. It was actually a great morning to be out there, the sun and everything. Actually, it was fun to be there with Gary as well. So I had camera problems shooting this. This camera that you're seeing right now just died after 7 minutes or something. And that's a known issue with that particular model of camera, which is one of the reasons I upgraded. But that was kind of a bummer. And the 360 camera, when I used it, you'll see the footage at the end of this soak section. It kind of didn't work. It's weird. It's when it went underwater, it had trouble stitching together the 360. And I imagine that's because there's some distortion under the water. But anyway, maybe next time I'll try it with just, it's got a standard kind of GoPro type lens that I can use on it. So maybe I'll try that underwater next time. I did want to talk a little bit about Hold Your Breath, because I really enjoyed watching it. I think I'm going to go back and watch it again, but I wrote down some questions to ask you about it, or points to cover. And first was the Finnish ice saws that were a plethora of Finnish ice saws in that little video, and I was wondering if that's where you discovered them or if you had seen them previously. But it was kind of cool to see them using them and effectively. And part of that was like the beautiful cinematography of the saw coming in from below the ice and kind of the slow motion. So you've got this beautiful motion, but actually the cinematography in the whole thing was amazing. And seeing her under the ice with her hands on the ice, and even some of the shots of her sister looking down through the ice at her, were both incredibly disconcerting and amazingly beautiful. And it made me want to try to get under the ice like that and look up through it. I think it would be interesting. And part of that obviously is the level of comfort. Actually, her level of comfort in the water is just amazing. And I think, when I went in today and I went underwater, I was not super comfortable, but actually the frustrating thing was for me was the buoyancy more than anything. I couldn't stay down. That hood is super buoyant, and it just kept pulling me up to the surface. Actually, it was really interesting once again in the documentary, the discussion with the woman's sister and her son And the way that her sister, was supporting her and out there with her all the time. But then when she's actually doing the dive, the sister says, this is the last time she's ever going to do this. This is her last ice dive. She's never going to do this again. And she repeated it multiple times, and you could tell that the stress that it caused for her poor sister, who, was trying to be supportive but crying through it all. So I thought that was a really kind of a beautiful human moment in the documentary. The other thing I found kind of weird about it was all the rules, the how formal the attempt was. And it, in some ways, I felt like it sort of took away from everything, with them scurrying between, the people on top of the ice scurrying between the holes. And you contrast that with her under the water and the shots of that where she's just so calm and moving slowly. And the cameraman mentioned afterwards at the end that he was worried between the last two holes because she was going so slowly. But clearly she was just completely calm and just felt, she clearly felt in control and wasn't rushing and wasn't panicking, which was kind of cool. But it was weird contrasting that with all the formal rules and the countdown and the the markers and everything. And in some ways, I think the earlier shots of her just being under the ice were actually really cool and made me want to try that. So yeah, I mean, when I'm out visiting, I am seriously interested in. I mean, it wouldn't be that big a deal to get under the lip of the ice and just look up through the ice, and leave your feet in the hole or something. And I'm just curious what that would feel like and what it would be, what that experience would be like. And it wouldn't be dangerous, I don't think. I'm thinking about going back down sometime this week and trying without the hood and seeing how cold that is and what that's like. I guess if I had a swim cap, that might be better. But anyway, yeah. So you're about to see the footage of me going under the water with the 360 cam, and it's not that exciting. You can't see much, but it's what I could capture. So I hope you find it interesting. Well, that was cold. My fingers, I don't think my hands have been this cold in a long time. I can't feel anything at all in my fingers. I think I putzed around. I took off the gloves and then putzed around with the gear when I got out, which was probably a mistake. Anyway, that's my story. Sticking to it. I'll talk to you later.